Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some stocks on the move today. I'm Nathan Hager, joined by Bloomberg's Kriti Gupta as we get ready to come back to work after the Juneteenth holiday. We've had a couple of stocks report earnings ahead of this morning's bell. Big pop for Carmax, Kriti. Good morning.
Good morning, Nathan. Yeah, a couple of earnings, a little bit of a slow day on the macro front outside, of course, of the geopolitical volatility we're seeing in the Middle East. And because of the holiday yesterday, you are seeing a bit of a catch-up trade. But I'm going to start with earnings for a stock we don't talk about very often, which is Carmax. KMX is your ticker this morning, trading just shy of $69 a share, higher by about 6.5% this morning. Now, it looks like their numbers came in a little bit higher than estimates, so not a massive beat here, but enough to impress these markets. We're looking at first quarter used vehicle sales, about $6.1 billion. The estimate was about $6 billion on the dot. So again, those first quarter EPS beating as well. We're looking at about $1.38 for the first quarter. The consensus was $1.17. So the combination of those two headlines certainly moving the market to the upside this morning. But Nathan, as I said, it's a little bit of a catch-up trade in these markets as well when it comes to the crypto market. And this is, again, not an area I talk about very often in this segment, but it's worth hitting because about 2 nights ago, I want to say 36 hours ago, we heard some news coming out of the Senate, in fact, when it comes to the stablecoin bill and getting a little bit of approval there and a bit of a green light. That is now starting to show up in some of those crypto exposed names. So let me walk you through a couple of them. Circle is going to be the key one that you want to watch. CRCL is your ticker. They're the ones that actually talked about issuing the stablecoins in the first place. So massive move here in the pre-market, even though the news is coming from about Wednesday night. CRCL higher by 9% this morning, trading at $217 a share. But you're seeing that in all of the cryptocurrency exposed names, for example. So Coinbase is another, COIN, catching a bid this morning, higher by 1.2%, and officially part of the S&P 500 as well. So really keep an eye on that stock now that it is officially a large cap company. Bitcoin as well, from a broad standpoint, higher by about 1.6%. So all of them moving in line with that macro story. Some M&A on the docket as well, Nathan, when it comes to Home Depot, of all places.
Yes.
Yeah, they've got some interest here when it comes to QXO, which, folks, we don't really talk about this one much, but it is a company that operates in logistics. It's one of the crown jewels of Brad Jacobs. It looks like GMS shares are now jumping on the report of Home Depot's challenge to the QXO bid. So there's plenty going on there. GMS shares higher by as much as 22% in the pre-market. Home Depot shares seeing a little bit of volatility as well. Remember, Home Depot also reported earnings recently. They're trying to navigate where their new consumer base is. Their shares are down this morning, down by about 0.6%. But that's, again, very normal when you're talking about some M&A action there. So Home Depot shares moving the market a little bit lower. The last one I'm going to mention is Mondelez. And again, it's slim picking. So I'm talking about some non-traditional stocks usually in this segment. But Mondelez is actually higher by about 1%. MDLC, they're the makers of Oreos. For those who don't know, Wells Fargo upgrading them. We all know. We're very familiar. Mondelez is getting an upgrade from Wells Fargo, saying that the bull case for them is more probable and more tangible. So a stamp of approval over at Wells Fargo.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.